Everybody say, say, how can I express my gratitude for all the many things you've done for me? Words are not enough, to say thank you. Say, Lord, you are my everything. You're my everything. How can I express my gratitude? How can I express my gratitude for all the many things Father, you done for me, yeah. Words are not enough to say thank you. So Lord, you are, you're my everything. Say, I call you Jireh. Lord, my provider. I call you Eunice. You are my battle. I call you Lawful. Hey. You are my healer. Say, Lord, you are. You're my everything. I call you Jireh. Lord, my provider. I call you Eunice. You are my battle. I call you Lawful. You are my healer. Say, Lord, you are. You're my everything. Oh, you're my thing, you know. 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 Yeah. So, oh, yeah. Oh, you're my thing, you know. Oh, you're my thing, you know. Yeah. Oh, you're my thing, you know. Oh, you're my thing, you know. Say, I call you Jireh, say. I call you Jireh. Lord, my provider. I call you Eunice. You are my battle. I call you Lawful. Hey. You are my healer. Say, Lord, you are my everything. Yeah. Are you ready, everybody? All right, listen. William me ground, cover your butt. Set. I can breathe without you, say. I can breathe without you. I can move without you, Lord. I can move without you. Hey, who am I without you? Who am I without you? Say, I can live without you, yeah. I can live without you. I can breathe without you, Lord. I can breathe without you. I can move without you, yeah. I can move without you. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Hey, we are my thing now. Oh, you're my thing now. Oh, you're my thing now. So, oh, yeah. Oh, you're my thing now. Oh, yeah.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on your location. Mema ankwankwe bia anope nso akwaba eba yedwumedie ya yato ni din se Legal Hour with BWF Solicitors. Enen so me gidi say wo ye baby biara wo. A very special greetings from the studios of BWF Solicitors to you wherever you are. Anope yesi ene ewia bebo kama na me gidi say ube enjoy ni die metonsa e de afro se beka ye ho anope yi na yentumi mfa saa dwumedie yi enkwa wiwie asomdwe mu ene se ene topic aye wo no emo de yie emo hwam na me gidi pa so se ubenya wo chefa efri mu ene se den yebekọ enche bia yebe introduce the topic no na we hu ampa se ne meka ne no kre se wo chefa ewo na ne tie ne se ansa na ye hya ase no se de ye ne de bia no onya ba so ape bomodia na share the program bomodia na pia ne tiko bomodia na try se ube like our page no I like program no nso aka ho na afi so koye YouTube channel no so bomodia na subscribe to the channel na ebusua no enyini medama se mwetie mi na ene memfa nchia kese enkomia me nua ba papa bi Sandra Fraser. Very special morning to you, baby. I want to pay me. Say, oh, yeah. Sounds so na mechia, many about Tilly, do Tilly. Nyame nhyira wo deɛ sɛ BWF anya bɔ wɔ ha pɛ na wedu hɔ ɛbɛsɔ ɛba ne mu na ɛkyerɛ sɛ ɛdɔ soronko a ɔwɔ ma BWF Solicitors no ɛnto ɛntwa da nyame nhyira wo nyame nka wo ho na yɛnkɔ yɛn anim megye ne sɛ wobɛfrɛfrɛ afoforɔ omo kebusua ne nyinaa na obiara bɛka yɛn ho na yɛmfa topic yɛn start ya na yɛnkɔ awie yɛ saa nso na mede nkyia bɛma yɛfrɛ ne sɛ me maame baako pɛ Auntie Helena, good morning to you megye di sɛ wo ho yɛ saa nso na nana sapɔn ekua beyi breyie echampɔn sorry agyeman sorry saa abena ɔhene ba ɔhene wa asantewa papa bi wodin deɛ mo ɔden mami na edin more there. Just a year course, I'll keep on calling the names, but I want to acknowledge you all. Say, Madam say, my basso namudi nije ebeshia ye sounds na many abemana najima, many oreku from pom. Atajima, munina baby amobia in chakesi enko and mamu from ifide ha. And then there were mamu na metin kakrebi nansa na meye sano. Mebo modia atunsa afre me maame me sister Penny ye lawyer papa bi no mfa nche mu ohwam emfa mbretifo na ahwefo oye wie ya na afi ma introduce topic ayewo anase mebisa ne nsamfo bi se ayembia ye twa ye ho na wotwi ye koba yi update bi oho no mu anam na update yi na kyese home office de bia omukeka mo ho a kyese ade be chi na ade be sa no na bibi foforo aba se bibia nsa so ne ho a then I will introduce the topic ayewo eneno na ye de abetudwa enti me ma good morning me nua ba me lawyer papa bi lawyer Eunice anope pacho o ho te sen
Nyamia drum my yetsi nyamia drum yena ye ho ye patcho won so e
adom nko a me nso me ho ye papa me da se ene franchia metiefo e na afi de me mfa ye topic no embetudwa
me da wase bebre mami enchia yetiefo ne ahwefo a ma join ne yen for end program yi nyame enka mo ho e won hira mo pa se ende ma be ka yen sa na yetumi edi ejumade as it is every Friday piano yama a bit of updates in terms of whatever is going on na for na ahwefo so e betumi e de omo adwen aba na at least ometumi ehu say sa nyama we anase we na eko inte ese msume metumi eye ehun boaye anase metumi ehwe ne ye efa ho je bia ye kan ye e-visa ho asem and I know say a lot of people have already enrolled onto the UKVI accounts. But I think I cry me say me can efa ye e-visa no ho say we obi a want to me and get e-visa na pacho bom ho den say obetumi enya emboa efri obi ho ananse obetumi nso afre sa home office contact number no as well as also the e-resolution center say or e-visa based on EU settlement scheme there and you're having issues viewing your status now, you can also contact the EU Resolution Center. But titiri no, say ebia unim obi a oye penimu kakra na ontumi enye saa e-visa no nso so a mepamocho bebree mo bommoden ya na mo frɛ nipa kɔ no enka nkyɛ ne sɛ bibi wɔ hɔ a mo frɛ ne e-visa just this week obi ɛbaeɛ a ɔsɛ oh mate sɛ bibi ɛɛkɔ so me card na ewu but minim sɛ masetena na enya nwuyɛ nti last week ya na mefa me card ɛna mehu sɛ ɔmo atwerɛ so 31st December 2024 nti ɛno na ɛma mefrɛ wo dendenden because na menim kora mpo sɛ bibi wɔ hɔ a mofrɛ no e-visa and I said to him I think so of course it was the prompting within you that made you check say ampa my card no me try for a long time it says me to me ho bibi and when it comes to the e-visa ne dear it's important very important say ube to me ahwe na we to me a log and say we to me a register for the UKVI account. When it comes to the UKVI account, no, it's very important, say, at least as much as possible, no, you have your biometric card, because your biometric card and also BRP card, no, and a yes UKVI account. And at least they're giving that grace period of 18 months. Omaka say at least or card company you have that 18 months period to be able to log in and answer register onto the UKVI account. And also no, you have to be able to have your details available into will date of birth, will email and your telephone number. And once you have those things, they will also allow you to download on app to be able to now scan renew ɛne wo card no nso ansa na ɔmabisa wo nsɛm ɛwɔ ɔmo website no nso ansa na woatumi register for saa account no. And as much as possible no, sɛ ɔmotumi yɛ saa e-visa no, because that is what most employers have been told, and I say guidance no ɔmode ama employers no ɛyɛ sɛ ɔmotumi check saa adeɛ wei ansa na ɔmo ama w'adwuma anaasɛ ansa na wotumi atoa so with w'adwuma no. So it's important say ɔmo bɛyɛ saa checks no. When it comes to the fact say over here view or now say share state immigration status with other agencies so they will also want to see these things. So it's not just for employers, it's for other agencies as well. So on way to me who will status no ama wasetena and I say on way to me ama wo dia wo hia efri omo. When it comes especially for those who have not yet done it, at least more up to the 1st of June, there are also sanctions, and I say yeah, almost once in San Sobi or I say when to me and yeah, it can also affect you. And one of them is the fact that they introduced more immigration biometric regulations 2008 almost introduced it just last month. Say when to me and yeah will biometric e-visa and I say when to me and yeah they are more kana, there can be sanctions in terms of them even canceling your leave. And I was like, wow, that's such a drastic measure to put in place in terms of obia went to me and yeah e-visa. Of course they want to make sure that everybody does it so that they don't have to impose any measures and that's sanctions in place so that people think say oh it's a mania crown pay okay. It's not okay because in law no, they have clearly stated say if you are not able to do so, then of course they would have these sanctions in place where at least it would deter certain people from not doing it. Into as much as possible, no. Say it to me, e-visa no by the 1st of June 2025. At least ọma ma nkurɔfoɔ bebree chance ɛna menim sɛ nkurɔfoɔ bebree nso etumi ayɛ, but ebinom nso wɔ hɔ a te sɛ sɛ nyame ma example of nipa na ɔbɛhu me this week no, ebi ɔmo nhwɛ ɔmo card ebia nso so obi mbisa ɔmo for share code nti ɔmo nhyɛ da ɛnte about e-visa. But sɛ wonim obi saa de apatwɔ bebree na wetu no fo na wetumi ayɛ saa e-visa wei a yɛka ho asɛm bebrebe because ehia paa sɛnya nsesansoɔ biara ɛmbɛka wo because ɔmo nim sɛ dodoɔ naa no ayɛ but they still need obia to do the e-visa. So you're British now, of course you don't have to do it. And from what EU settlement scheme national, they already have an account because they did it through their application into at least almost so they don't necessarily have to do it. But obi biara okita leave to remain and I say indefinite leave to remain no. Ehu hia say over to me aye sa e-visa we a ye ka ho asem bebrebe. And also in terms of I know say nkurɔfoɔ more skilled work routes no so nkurɔfoɔ bebree are on that skilled work route in terms of the health and care jobs and I say health and care industry no. And I know say when it comes to nkurɔfoɔ no more health and care routes no so a ebi mo frɛ na ɔmo bisa sɛ oh mewɔ me ho kafo anaasɛ mebusuani wɔ ha a metumi de no aka ho anaa. Of course, the immigration rules are very strict as to which family members can join, especially if say wasitna no omo de ma wo before March of 2024 there, then you can bring wukunu anasa woyere anasa womba abeka wonsa ewo UK chrome ha. When it comes to your immigration rules no so there have been some changes into ABA also after na was switch it to the health and care routes under occupation code 6145 or 6144 or 6135 or 6134, and you are looking to also add family member into what switching no so add kunu anaasɛ wo yere ne wo mba. Sɛ afei ɛna waswitch it to those specified occupation codes ne deɛ then of course um, the immigration rules have changed to the effect that wontumi ɛmfa wo yere anaasɛ wo kunu anaasɛ wo mba ɛnka ho. It's very very important say when your job and I say when you're nkrata based on the health and care routes now, you bear this in mind because otherwise it means say well dependents now on your mobile they will not be able to switch onto that route with you because of the changes that have come about in terms of your immigration rules no. I know say bim bebree bi a the students and as a graduate visa no ɛwɔ chrome ha ne nti. So when you adwuma bi a they feel say it's important for them to be able to now switch and then add their dependents. But unfortunately it is not so. And most of the time when I get these calls it's very unfortunate, but it's how it is now because of the fact say when the rules got changed, it was because the news say nkurɔfoɔ bebree ɛreba through that care route and they are bringing their dependents with them, and in order to reduce the immigration numbers and nti na wɔde saa should I say clause ne baeɛ to be able to prevent many people bringing in their dependents. It is rather unfortunate. Say wait to me any juma now when to me and far with dependents and count then it means that they also have to find another route to go on to be able to reside, and I say on way to me I hear there's some or UK chrome ha. So in terms of skilled workers no mo share we so and so senya say mutumi nye edwuma bi a cause issues. I know say dodoɔ na ebia ye revoke sponsor license every omedwumemfoɔ no anaasɛ ɔmo aka sɛ ɔmo ma ɔmo embrɛ to look for alternatives, and usually it's a 2 or 3 month period to be able to switch to a different route. Dodoɔ naa no at least minim sɛ government no aka sɛ edwumamfoɔ no anaasɛ employers na ɔmo wɔ saa sponsor license no should make sure say ɔmo bɛma nkurɔfo no ɔmo wɔ kurom ha deda no saa COS anaasɛ certificate of sponsorship to be able to work ansa na ɔmo akɔhwehwɛ obi wɔ abɔnten anaasɛ ɔmo akɔhwehwɛ obi wɔ Ghana anaasɛ amanɔne. See, that requirement is there for employers to make sure that they recruit from within the UK and san on abonting. But unfortunately, it's not working as quickly as people would want it because it's only a short period of time. Omobeka say I share another route and I switch it to another route and sana ye trap was it in him. And unfortunately some people are not able to get Sa Ejumano within that time frame, and that has also caused a lot of issues. But I'm hoping, say, even with this, those employers will also look to those who are here not to be able to get them back onto the skilled worker routes as quickly as possible. Nti we kakra ɛna mede bɛto hɔ as updates na yɛtumi atoa so with your main topic for the day.
Okay, Eunice, we di anya kakra de near update now I'm on the cry is a whole topic on its own. Nti ye better say na nka mo nsɛmfo bi wo ba me hwɛ ye mre ne nso se ne be ya ye ndidi nkɔ ye main topic ne mo. Na baby ye na ye massive film kakra na che say we ye skill worker wo ba under the care route no so na unya new sponsor on the care route no so na che say we dependent na wo the buy na account no ono so ntumi nswitch, which I don't see obi be say logically no it doesn't really make sense to you, but home office me yenti o mase adenti say me ne me kunu ana memba yete ha ye wo ha ye nya settlement do by ye wo ha in be a 3 years time no aso na skill work am de buy na ye care me pesisi a near company now or they may buy an immune sponsor beam to say me switch it to another care route ne so no makonya sponsor fofra na just say me kro ne member na me ne member no muntumi ndi mechi nko sa sponsor ne so. I don't know how it's working in that way. In be a home office for the another alternative there, because not just say so no only DNA would me spouse me dependent on more DNA would also mukufia na so me a whole
It's
question.
in terms of that one specifically, no, it
Mm-hmm.
is many for Nkrofo almost switch to that route for the first time. Into na mebo Nkrofo mo students and also more graduate routes no so. Into
Uh,
say all switch call health and care route no for the first time. Into oh
mm-hmm,
dear no after March 2024 no answer na wo sa e kasa COS no. Into no no sa no saa mmara no a wɔde aba no ɛbɛka wo, but sɛ woba hanom before
before.
uh, that
Mm,
March 2024 regulation and
mm,
immigration rules no ɛsesa no deɛ then
mm,
of course you can still include your
yeah,
dependents with
then,
you because now was our health and care routes no so deda. Yes.
and
Nti
yeah, the
afei
little
na wɔn
advice.
then
Sorry.
yeah.
Okay, any advice I do more money say enkope so onim say ebe count there men go enkope care route no because sponsorship because other skill works na there say na there they can switch with their
Yes.
dependent no but
Yes.
care for there no kwa na omo sa clause no patcho sa na
Yes.
tie.
Patrai.
Yo,
Yes.
Mama, you better was na ene ya koyen topica ye work for the day. It's here for my basso be damunina sinyamin shamo. Very soon I'll start asking your questions that you have sent on the platform. However, say baby, if there is any alternative, say to me freya, you can always leave a message on the platform and then I'll read that to Eunice to answer you. Intimate. So also after the education, or just give us about 20, let's say 10 to 15 minutes, we'll complete the education. And after that, I'll open the telephone lines for you to call in. And if you're not able to call in, make sure you can leave a message on the one of the numbers that I'll put across. Leave a message, a voice note, and I'll be happy to play that for Eunice to answer your question for you. Enti ene no yem producer Mr. Nafa topic no to screen so mami na menka ho asemfo akakra na yetutu to kwan bebre a eni gesem ebi wo ha oba on purposes of short notice obi nso si o me ba akosisi a obi nso oba akwantu ma won se no asitna na e wa ha ne different from baby ofi nti obe pray say ene obetena simom na wa di adwuma afebɔ obi nso ɔba various reasons obi ade two kwan nanso obedu a one or two circumstances na obe finding himself in into no na ama n'adwen asesa sɛ ɔne ɔtenam wotenam nso a ɔsɛ wonya nkrataa a ɛbɛtumi ne watena na wetumi ayɛ wɔ adwuma na ɔmoma wo mmerɛ na woyɛ a afei du baabi a wopɛ sɛ ɔneɛ wombɛka abusua UK abusua no kyerɛ sɛ Britishfoɔ abusua no wopɛ sɛ wobɛyɛ bi na ɛno ane sɛ wopɛ sɛ wobɛyɛ citizen ɛyɛ British citizen dodoɔ na wish sɛ ɔhyɛ aseɛ nkakra nkakra wɔba bɛyɛ citizen because the numerous benefit that comes with sɛ wokita woyɛ citizen na wotu kwan na woyɛ biribi a ɛneɛ nyame no anum nokora nie benefit bebree ɛwɔ ho nti obiara pere sɛ ɔbɛba bɛyɛ citizen na Enya better sa ansa na oba be citizen no e won hihye a o se wo fam ene emre ema wo ho kwan ansa na sa mre na wo be di so no na wotumi abe British citizen na mom ene yen topic ni say wo hwe yen background kwan a ye fa so de be citizen no ye wo kwan sorte a obetumi anya se wonya na obeye ye fa the normal one and I said the most popular one is say wenya wo indefinite na afei or say wo twen afe baako na afei na saa afe no wetumi afei wabɛyɛ British citizen no wabɛ naturalize. Eno in particular na ene yɛpɛ sɛ yɛka ho asɛm tie for mu tie mi a eno na yɛpɛ sɛ yɛka ho asɛm sɛ the most popular route na ɛne sɛ wobɛfa kwan biara so no wabɛnya indefinite leave to remain. Wobɛnya indefinite there ɛne asomdwe na wenya na asomdwe no nso ba a woka sɛ ɛneɛ menya ne de o se me pre se me citizen no na amra ese anasa aban ne se anasa UK for se ene wonya sa indefinite de a o se wotwen bosome baako du mienu eye 12 months 12 months na wetumi ade eden ade aye nanso no there are few here and there and clauses bi bata baby a eya ne yenim enti no yenim baby o se ejina ye baby se o se wonya lawful resident o se wonya den ho terminology na edoso ti se lawyers nkwa na betumi acheche mu enti na metwen lawyer Eunice baya na me bisa ne se metumi anaturalize se me ba be ye British citizen abra me di sa 12 months no wo me indefinite ne so na se me be ye sa de na o se me kire me mfie num no me kire se me ye lawful residence wo krom ha na eno na epese ye hwe se wonye lawful residence na you might not be able to but ene no de na o se me ye na me to me kire anase ewo se me kire sa lawful residence of 5 years no ansana metumi de 1 year anase 12 months na account na metumi aba ba ye me British naturalization. Nti se me be kan potom kasa na can I naturalize as a British citizen after 12 months of indefinite leave to remain, or do I have to show 5 years lawful residence? Ansana. Until Eunice, mesa ato nsa fro na me pese ye kono step by step. Na me bisa ho nsem kakra na afi na wo kyerɛkyerɛ mu se ne be ya obiti ekyire na otie yen wetumi atake note na wenya ntiase no ama ode ato anamo enti no medase na me question ni bio pese me bisa can I naturalize as a British citizen after 12 months of indefinite leave to remain, or do I have to show 5 years lawful residence before I can do that? Pacho adaroma, yitil na bomodea na cheche.
I believe say question it there very important to me that was to say with me bisa question no, and I believe it's in two parts as well because can I naturalize as a British citizen after 12 years of indefinite leave to remain, or do I have to show 5 years lawful residence? And see, I believe say it's in two parts, and the first part is looking at the fact that mensaka me indefinite leave to remain there. Made to me, I am a British nationality application after 12 months now. And as part of the requirements under Section 6 and Schedule 1 of British Nationality Act, no, say, once etumi can we indefinite leave to remain. Na utumi say after a certain period, which is the 12 months, no, with me at UK Chrome without any restrictions to your leave there, you can make an application for naturalization. But that is just one requirement. There are other requirements as well in terms of naturalization application. And another requirement is also the fact that it's ultimately say within the 5 year period and sana will be application on want to qualify for more than 450 days. Into when you look at that requirement, it means that, of course, it's not just one thing that they are looking for. They are looking for you to make sure, say, as well as having indefinite leave to remain and then staying here for 12 months, you also have to show that 5 years lawful residence before unsa sa indefinite leave to remain. And we are going to be looking at different scenarios where, of course, somebody can fall under this category, and especially when it comes to your indefinite leave to remain. There are so many people that will come to the UK and have indefinite leave to remain from different categories whatsoever. And say we will look at these questions in depth as we go along.
Yo, mami, yɛda ase yie enti no ɛnɛ ɛno na yɛka ho asɛm no de sɛnea lawyer Eunice ɛkyerɛkyerɛ mu no enti no ɛnɛ me metumi ebisa sɛ sisia no sɛnea wɔakyerɛ no sɛ mepɛ sɛ mefa saa kwan ne so anaasɛ ɔsɛ meyi kyerɛ saa lawful residence sɛ questions na akɔyɛ mmienu enti ne ebedi kan no mebisa sɛ metumi a naturalize after 12 months no ɛno wedi kan aka kyerɛ yɛn na mmom then who can apply? My question is, who can apply to naturalize as a British citizen after obtaining settlement? Not just say there are crowdphobia our system anymore. Not just say no beer nebe to me apply, and maybe some wine potting nebe to me apply after when you indefinite leave to wine nebe to me apply as a British citizen and patch up.
That's bebree. Nti sɛ yɛhwɛ yɛ section 6 of your British Nationality Act is very clear, say obi a Secretary of State of the Home Department no ɛdwen sɛ withdrew full capacity, which is usually obi a ɔyɛ full age ne full capacity. Obi a ɔyɛ the age of 18 or above. Nti sɛ nipa korɔ no adu full age na, usually any person who is 18 years old or above is seen to be an adult under immigration rules, and I say immigration mbra no a ɛwɔ kurom ha. And capacity is to show say nipa korɔ no n'adwen ɛwɔ hɔ ɛda fam saa. Of course, say nipa korɔ no ɛwɔ yareɛ bi to do with the mind there, it might be difficult for them to be able to naturalize, because when it comes to them understanding the reason they nti a ɔmo ɛnya saa asetena no koraa mpo a ebi a ɔmo ɛnte aseɛ sɛ these are the requirements needed and these are their obligations as a British citizen. Obi biara ɔbɛyɛ saa naturalization no, sɛ ɔmo de certificate no ma wo a, you have to go for a ceremony, and the ceremony takes place within your local authority, and you are making a pledge to the United Kingdom once you go for that ceremony. Nti sɛ w'adwene ɛnna hɔ na wontumi make that pledge with understanding there, wobɛtumi aka sɛ na wonnim deɛ woka no nti ebia wakɔyɛ bɔne bi a na wonnim nti na wonte asɛ sɛ this was the promise or the pledge you were making to become a British citizen. So it's very important, say, as much as possible, no, that person is of full age and of full capacity, or to their or say answer na why yes application no. Into first thing first, those are the two main things they are looking for under Section 6 of the British Nationality Act. Into as much as possible, no, the person has to be somebody who is a full age and of full capacity to be able to understand their all. And then once they are able to show that they are over the age of 18 or madrin dahono, then they look at the other requirements in regards to how they can now naturalize as a British citizen.
Okay. Yo, la yun is ya so be an adwin down, be an adwin down, sebio producer. Want to make coca say what drum cow na o say wa kujina na so I want to become a bit near ho na chese ahwe ye ne be ye so person be British citizen se ne be ya yare bi a ebe ma wa adwin mu ɛbɛka kakra no ɛnkɔto sɛ wopɛ sɛ ɔyɛ British citizen a. Na ɛno koraa no yɛwɔ questions wɔ ho, but yɛmbisa ne sisi a, because obi a n'adwene mu ka. There are various when it comes to mental health no, yɛwɔ thousands of illness falling under mental health. Not just say if they are basing on that mental health issue, so you have to have a sound mind, you know. Nkurɔfo bebree categorically deɛ mpɔtee yareɛ bɛn because yɛka mental health deɛ a ɛyɛ ana ɛdɔɔso yie, but ɛnɛ yɛ nkɔ mu kɛseɛ yɛbɛkɔ yɛn nim nti no sisi a yɛhu sɛ ɔsɛ wadwene mu dam wadwene mu yɛ sound mind obi a wotumi reason wotumi dwene wotumi keka nneɛma bɔ mu yie no wonni problem with mental health no wo na wobɛtumi ayɛ saa program no wobɛtumi ayɛ decision based sɛ watena ase adwene ho na wayɛ saa decision no ɛsɛ sɛ wobɛtumi ayɛ na sɛ ayɛ bia wasɔfa saa mental health no wasɔfa saa na sɛsi a wo ho atɔ now you can still make good decision and as a sound decision will you also be classified say still out that so once I was suffer be pen just say afibo ana when no your questions are a grow for person will be but and year no ano answer na la Eunice my next question is ain't sisi a ye hu say madwemi da ho kama metumi apply for British citizen a there requirement na ehia say metumi egyina so na metumi me nso aye British citizen and I'm naturalizing.
It's I think so when it comes to Obia, with me actually say of course you're above the age of 18 and I say 18 or above no not doing so the horn. Then they now look at whether they are able to meet immigration requirements. And one of them is the fact that San Impakoi they are able to show said they are of good character. Into good character, no, there's no definition per se in terms of somebody who is a good character, but at least they have a guidance which shows them obia onye of good character. And see, of course, when it comes to Momo good character guidance, ne dear, you have on that list a whole list of should I say categories of people they view not to be of good character. A bit to say criminality, a bit to say obia what committee consistently or is a persistent offender. Obi be a we try and draw afa immigration home obi a ɔde ɛka in terms of court fees ne saa yama no obi a for instance ebi a yaka sɛ ɔba UK kurom ha illegally um there are a number of categories where they deem say somebody may not be of good character. Into the list can go on and on, but at least they are there are certain categories where you can be pardoned, and as some way to me I can say okay, we say yeah, but say the better. Into one of the requirements is to show say you are a person of good character. A second requirement and say you are able to show say at least what's not a chrome ha for a period of 5 years to quite more than 450 days. In see so say what's not a chrome ha lawfully for a 5 year period. Person who say within that 5 years now say what's not chrome ha to quite more than 450 days because they want to know what your intention is as well. And see, as long as you haven't traveled for more than 450 days now, then you can say you meet that requirement. And then another requirement, and as your title name, whether you are able to show say you have no restrictions to your immigration status into the fact that only any restriction will indefinite leave to remain into war indefinite leave to remain over to me address was indefinite leave to remain for a period of at least 12 months and then the third is the fact that since you are making your application no, within that 12 months period before your application no, to quite more than 90 days and also to quite 90 days or more. And then they also want to look at the fact that so also what's na UK Chrome ha for that period of time as much as possible, no. Your intention is to make the UK your home. Into sɛ woka sɛ wopɛ sɛ UK hanom ɛyɛ wo kurom a, they want to see that you haven't traveled more than those stated periods, because sɛ woyɛ obi a wotaa toto kwan deɛ a, it means sɛ your intention wadwen ɛnka UK kurom ha, it means sɛ ebia wopɛ sɛ wotena hanom but ebia wopɛ sɛ wotena baabi a wokɔ no nso so. Nti sɛ ɔmo hu sɛ wotutu kwan bebree nso so a, it might draw on the fact that your intention is not to make the UK your home. Nti ɛno nso can also affect application na woyɛ no. And like I said, when it comes to your good character requirements, no dear, dodoɔ na ɛkyerɛ nneɛma bebree, and so you must be able to show say you have met the requirements as they would want it. Answer na wetumi atoa so ayɛ application no. And not forgetting, it's very important that you seek legal advice, because sometimes ebi mu ɛka sɛ ɔmo betumi ayɛ application no, and there are so many things that are on the application. If you do not state it clearly for them to see, say that here there, then unfortunately you might be making the application thinking say you've done everything. Especially in Crawford, almost use different names ebia omo ba chrome ha no, they used a different name when they entered and were making applications, almost use different name and so if you are in that category of people who have changed your name and since you entered the UK there, it's very very important, so basically legal advice and send away your application no, just so that you don't find yourself not meeting good character requirements also and having your application refused as well. Into those things are very very important in terms of meeting all of the requirements in regards to your nationality applications.
Questions ne deɛ ɛyɛ me nwanwa. Ne wokasa na wakyerɛ good character nso deɛ ɛyɛ a na ɛha adwene o. Ɛha adwene ara to the extent sɛ ɛyɛ a na mfomsoɔ no bi wɔ hɔ a obi ɛnyɛ da ɛnyɛ sɛ wahyɛ da na ɔyɛ, but wobɛhu a na abɛto no, wobɛhu a na abɛto no, nti no ɛba ne sɛ ɛbɛfeel sɛ ɔno no ɔnkita good character. Nti saa good character yi, Eunice mensan w'akyi kakra. Ɔhɔ no ɛyɛ discretion anaasɛ by like so nipa no nyɛ hu ya ne ɔsɛ refuse naturalization no automatically, because sɛ nka obi bɛsɛ lawyers obi mukɔdi asɛm ama obi a na sɛ obi ayɛ bɔne a, at least mohwɛ deɛn na ɛbaeɛ nti a saa bɔne ne baeɛ, deɛn motive, deɛn, like you assess the whole situation, both all the areas, and be physically, mentally, emotionally, mu assess it, answer na ma make a decision. Nti me question, I don't know, so if you get me a, ɔmo
Yeah.
yes a good character na ɛyɛ discretion anaasɛ ɛne yɛnyɛ hu sɛ wa committee yɛka ne sɛm bi a driving offence 1 or 2 occasion na ne ɛsɛ saa na woteɛ na ɔmo ayɛ anaasɛ ɔmo hwɛ mu kakra ansa na nea mebisa nea nti a mebisa sɛ nea ɛmbɔ obi ho sɛ bi a
Yeah.
ɔmo wɔ bit of little offences a wa committee no na ehu akye no sɛ ɔmfa nkɔ because saa offence a wayɛ deɛ yɛde kɔ ya yɛbɛ condemn no mpakyɛw biribi saa ɛwɔ hɔ.
Of course, and see, I believe say Stenya may di kind you know, there are different categories of people that may not be deemed to be of good character. But when it comes to the fact say there are certain should I say areas where you are pardoned into and it's a the moments who can say ABR when your traffic offense na only refusal application. I know that when it comes to traffic offense, usually there is a period where it will pass, and I believe that is a 3-year period. And sana, young can say your sheet becomes clean again. Into usually you would want that period to pass before you even put in the application. Because when it comes to, for instance, example now, traffic
Mm,
offenses, there it's a criminal offense, but that shouldn't be the case. I know Obia or committee, I think one traffic offense the year prior to the second traffic offense. Into obviously because he had two penalties and then one of them he was given a fine.
mm,
Um, you can't say of course because of those two offenses needs to woman a certificate of naturalization. Of
mm,
course, you have to explain that the 3 years has passed since the
mm.
last offense, and he's shown that he's not somebody who is a persistent offender because he hasn't committed any other traffic offenses since the 3 years has passed. Until
Mm.
you also put your case forward that this person obviously has mitigating circumstances and has continued to show that they have good character since the
Yep.
last offense. Yes. And obviously, you have to be um, tactical depending on offense now while committing no, then you look to see is it something that I can apply for straight away or do I have to wait, because usually abia if it's to do with an offense where you were put in prison there, usually you want a 10-year period to pass because usually that's what they usually look out for, that they may grant you after that period has passed. And you want that time to pass before you put in another application, just so that you know say you are putting your best foot forward, because within that 10-year period they expect say you will not have committed another offense and you would remain of good character, and also have examples of things that you are doing which shows that you are a person of good character. It's
Character.
very, very important that as much as possible, you seek some legal advice before you make such an application. Yeah.
Mm. I see. So good character, dear. I wish I would dwell on it, but I will come back to good character. But you move on to my various questions and I'm a pale apohano. Na ye are samba because good character. Now I say a real be and then people really don't know where they should draw the lines, like a DM potty will contribute to this and that. Why explaining all right, but few questions still keep popping up or say a show. But then I'll jump from there to a different question. Yeah, yeah, but as time as we have more time later on. And to my next question, I maybe son say see I watch good character now requirement near the no. Let's come to almighty life in the UK test no. Any English test no. Ehia say me yes adeɛ wei abra me kwa akoye naturalize ana. Nti me question do I have to take the life in the UK and English language test when applying ana? So,
Yes, and see, those are also part of the requirements when you look at Schedule 1 of the British Nationality Act. And see, it says that you should be able to show good knowledge of life in the UK and should have passed an English language test. And see, of course, when it comes to naturalization applications, as much as possible, you would need to meet those two other requirements. Ebumudrin said it's just the life in the UK test that I have to do. But unfortunately, it's not just the life in the UK test that so yeah. If you already have an undergraduate degree or a master's degree and I say PhD, then of course ɛho hia sɛ wobɛyɛ saa English language test no, because you already have a degree to show that you are able to meet the English language test. Sɛ ɛnyɛ degree a woyɛɛ wɔ kurom ha na ebi a wode firi Ghana ɛna wode baayɛ deɛ a, it needs to be confirmed by ECTIS, which was formerly NARIC. So ECTIS will need to confirm say wo degree na wowɔ no it meets the Common European Standard Framework a ɔmowɔ ɛwɔ UK kurom ha, and it will be above a level B1, because usually so yes English language test now they expect you to do it at a level B1. Into if you have a degree from a different country there, then you have to have that ethics confirmation not to make sure say it meets the required standard. And of course, when once you've been able to show say you do meet the English language test, and then you have also taken the life in the UK test, not so then you can also go ahead and make the application for naturalization, because you should be able to have all of this in place in order to make the application. Notwithstanding say nipa chrono akola afedia we room, then of course you need to let them know say bia the school now or call Ghana no, they may not necessarily consider that unless it's a degree. But if it's also, for instance, um a person who has now entered the university into all by or the indefinite nearby into now they have a degree that they are on. They are now studying, let's say, biology in university. Then you will let them complete that degree before um applying for the naturalization, because at least almost to me they know actually say almost meets our English language requirements normal, yes our life in the UK and also so, and then they can show say they are able to meet both requirements in order to make the application.
Wow. Hmm. English language ne deɛ ɛyɛ ɛna before I may move it to my next one no, it's for very soon I open the telephone line, so keep posting the ones that you want to ask on the platform. Momfambra Facebook ne so ana YouTube ne so na maybe I maybe said their mama and Eunice what can English no what can life in the UK no ɛyɛ na English ne deɛ nhyɛ da nyɛ din kɛseɛ. Obi ka sɛ oh na sɛ English B1 ne deɛ ɛnyɛ den koraa o, na me sɛ ɛnokorɛ ɛnyɛ den mmom, bi ɛnyɛ den ɛmma wo but ɛyɛ den ma ebinom because yɛtumi faili ebinom ba ama just interview no ɛnyɛ it's just about kyɛ sɛ akyɛ aboro so ayɛ 12 minutes saa test no nanso no ebinom faili ɛneɛ ebinom faili de biara nti wo na ɛnyɛ de ma wo a ebi mo yɛ de sɛ wokɔyɛ a ɔmmɔden a na hyehyɛ wo ho meka hyehyɛ wo ho a learn it sua bi pɛ few way a exams ne bi a nkurɔfoɔ ayɛ how the outcome ne ade ade na ayɛ because wobɛka sɛ yɛ question meka me refer me ho because meyɛ adwuma wɔ baabi a ɔmo yɛ saa English test ne bi nti na meka yɛn no, so don't get me wrong nti no sɛ wo prepare wo ho na wo si o mete borɔfo na woba a ɛyɛ nokorɛ wote borɔfo ba ɛyɛ very slim ɛyɛ nneɛma nketenkete bi pɛ ne ɛpɛ sɛ ɛhu how you express yourself in different areas ɛno na ebi mo kɔ na yɛsi daabi yɛmfa ma ɔmo a na ɔmo ayɛ sɛ aha o daabi mesrɛ wo ɔwɔ sɛ prepare wo ho ansa na wakɔ na nea ɛden wɔ mu kɛseɛ ne life in the UK. I know of someone who 8 times life in the UK test them 8 solid times. Ne nyinaa nso no ɛnyɛ free o, nyɛ sɛ ɔde yɛde kyɛ no. Ne nyinaa wotwe sika na wakɔ akɔyɛ. Na kyerɛ sɛ de bia ɔbɔ ka until sɛ me hands look. Yɛnsua ne kɛkɛ. Of course, there are a whole lot of resources online ne ade ade a wobɛtumi ayɛ. But wopɛ sɛ wohu a to wo bo ase na sua ne yie anaa ma obi nkyerɛ wo kwan a yɛfa so a yɛde paase saa life in the UK no na wotumi akɔ paase obi tumi behu yɛyɛ a one two akyɛ two pɛ na wayɛ obi nso once yɛkyerɛ no kwan na once ɔkɔɔyɛ a na watwa ne 40 na ɔresene nti no don't just go as oh minim no akɔyɛ me nua bɛma me nua ba a wotie me yɛsua nti sua ansa na wakɔ akɔtena akyiri Eunice mɛda ase na yɛnkɔ yɛnim ɛnɛ mmere ne kɔ paa ma yɛn but when it comes to British nationalization deɛ yɛ ana nkurɔfoɔ ani gye ho nti yɛnhwɛ o yɛahwɛ English aspect no na afei yɛhu requirement na afei yɛhu good character yɛ deɛ yɛbɛsa aba so o Yenshe Abraham, yes, we know. Will any period of overstaying or illegal entry be considered with such an application? And no, na ya na higher. Udi kind eka ansana go into details. No can kakra about omo omo ba no mato mo passport achine no ma yesi ne abata ho no pese wo san boso kakra mame. My overstaying, because you said new rules being so about nkrofo a enter illegally ne ade ade nti oho no pacho to was na chiche mu kakra. My overstaying and I say will any period of overstaying or illegal entry be considered with such an application? Pacho wadaroma.
That's very. This also links with the second part of the question because the second part of the question says, "Do I have to show 5 years lawful residence?" Into ABA over a chrome ha, with the visitors visa and I buy it and I will bet mu because na uni krata. Somebody like that is an overstayer because over through the lawful means, but ubet mu no na uni asitna until you became an overstayer. Ansa na wobenya nkrata, ansa na wobenya wo indefinite leave to remain. Obi saa no, I know say as per the new good character guidance no, saa nipa korɔ no, their application will be considered because they have been able to show that they came here lawfully and they have now, of course, attained indefinite leave to remain. They have shown 5 years lawful residence. They have shown that they were not absent for the specific periods of 450 days and 90 days, respectively. And they have also shown that they intend to make the UK their home and have provided past results for their life in the UK and their knowledge of the English language. Into saa nipa korɔ no, as much as possible no, they can go ahead and make that application. And I know say when it comes to nkrɔfo a ebi before 28th of June 2022 no, they had premise that in terms of almost lawful residents no say to me and say 10 years up from the time ɔmo bɛyɛ legal ɛwɔ kurom ha deɛ a ɔmo ntumi ɛnyɛ naturalization application nti saa guidance on normal they rain for. But as part of the Nationality and Borders Act that came into force in 2022, no, and no more Emma who said you don't have to show say 10 years have passed since your stay became legal in the UK. You can just show say you've lived here lawfully for a 5 year period and you have now obtained or indefinite leave to remain. Into that was something that was seen as good news from the 28th of June 2022. And when it comes to Nkofo Amoye illegal immigrants, of course, they are seen to be different from Nkofo Amoye overstayers. Illegal immigrants, obi a one fast sitna ambe room into ebia oni bibi obetumi de akyerɛ sɛ ɔwɔ asetena a ɔde wura mu but afei deɛ ne nsa aka ne indefinite ɔpɛ sɛ ɔyɛ naturalization ɛno ɛna mbra foforɔ no a wɔde aba in terms of yɛ good character requirements no ɛka sɛ woantumi ankyerɛ sɛ wode lawful means ɛna de bɛwura mu deɛ a ɛndeɛ no home office caseworker anaasɛ secretary of state no may not grant your naturalization application because of the fact say you didn't come here lawfully. And of course, you have to be able to really justify the reasons why they should grant you naturalization certificates if you did not come through the lawful means. And it will be difficult to justify it if you, for instance, all you are saying is no one say meant to me and fan kratamba. At least obi a ebi a ɛko ɛkɔ so ɛwɔ ne kurom no obetumi aka sɛ I na me ne beebi akɔ ɛna nneɛma a ɛrekokɔ so wɔ me kurom no nti ɛma mede baa UK kurom ha. Nti monhwɛ me situation ne me circumstances na mede baeɛ na momfa mma me. But sɛ woka sɛ biribi nni hɔ, ɛno ne sɛ mebaa kurom ha illegally, and unfortunately no, you will not have justified the reason why they should grant you naturalization. Nti sɛ woyɛ illegal immigrant dear, then it will be difficult for them to grant you naturalization certificate no. Nti it's very very important to show say so what the legal means na de buy ebia obi nkrata na wo de buy wo de visit visa na wo de remu na nipa din no say ni say passport no mu, but ube mu no na wo sesa wo din, at least ɛno no sa no umbetumi a check your records, because all your application no from Ghana no wo na wo call visa application center no wo na wo de wo photo call ye into wo picture no na da wo records no so ɛmfa ho sɛ ɛdin no na ɛnyɛ wo din. You just have to put it on the application said na din we na wo de mu afei the din we na wo use so sɛ nya wo betumi ehu sɛ you are not trying to deceive them, because deception is also another category of nyama omuhu as not good character. Into say omu train say your intention was to deceive them on the application there, and they unfortunately omu be refused to application no. So it's better say ube disclose say na ye din we na wo use so after the din we and now wo afa wo use so. That doesn't mean say you are just telling them the facts of what happened, and then they can look at it and then grant it to you. Yeah.
Wow, nee, na kyerɛ sɛ, UK-foɔ deɛ, ɛyɛ, ne nyinaa monim ɔmo kwan a ɔmo ahyehyɛ nti a, wopɛ sɛ wobɛka ɔmo abusua ne ho a, ɔmo fa so na ɔmo ndrele wo na ɔmo hu sɛ ampa, wosom bo sɛ wobɛka ho. Nti no, yɛn na ɔsɛ, yɛtu kwan a, first of all, yɛmfa nhyɛ yɛn adwene mu sɛ wopɛ sɛ daakye bi, kuro no a wokɔ so no, nkɔyɛ ɔhɔ nom nipa a, anaasɛ nkɔyɛ citizen wɔ hɔ a, ɔsɛ wotutu w'anan mu yie. Ɛtɔ da bi a na through no fault of others anaasɛ nkurɔfoɔ no na nneɛma bi abɛtwitwa mu akwan mu. Ɛbɛtwitwa mu saa na ɛnka akyire, you can still rectify them, you can still go forward na wasiesie w'akyi sɛnea ɛbɛyɛ a sɛ daakye bi wopɛ sɛ wobɛyɛ citizen wɔ kuro no so a, ɛyɛ especially UK kuro yi so a, na woatumi anya no yie. Ɔmo deɛ ɔmo yɛ lenient, ba nso no ɔmo wɔ sɛ ɔmo hwɛ sɛ nipa a yɛgye na aka yɛn ho no ɔsom bo sɛ yɛgye no anaa. Nti no obi bɛsɛ word to a wise no ɛyɛ ɛda yɛn nsɛm. Eunice, mebisa me last question nanso answer na mebisa na I would rather open the telephone lines no na nkurɔfoɔ wɔ questions a ɔmo pɛ sɛ ɔmo bisa a na ɔmo nso ebisa sɛnea ɛbɛyɛ a me nkwa mengye show ne mfa. Nkurɔfoɔ nti na ɛwɔ ha. Nti no ɛnɛ telephone lines no yɛda so de di dwuma. Ɛnkyɛ ɛde akɔ anim no ɛbɛsesa nanso ɛnsesa a yɛn deɛ yɛmfa wei a ɛndi dwuma. Ɛyɛ 0208 123 1016 anaasɛ 07399208468. Wobɛtumi afrɛ na wofrɛ yɛ no na yɛagye wo so kamakama. Yɛgye wo so nso a meba yɛgye wo nso a na wotumi ebisa w'asɛm. Afei nso no wobɛtumi nso mbia baabi a wowɔ no wontumi sɛ womfrɛ, nti no wobɛpɛ sɛ wobɛgya voice note wokɔ WhatsApp number wei no so a ɛyɛ WhatsApp only, biribiara nka ho, WhatsApp only na wagya voice note no ɛwɔ hɔ nom. Ɛyɛ 07596620 wobɛtumi agya message ɛwɔ hɔ nom na yɛabɔ de ama wo. Nti yɛnnua ɔbaa na yɛnnua bɛrima cutie, wodin ne cutie, menim sɛ woyɛ ɔbaa na ɔbɛrima, fakyɛ me. Wo say I had my ILR, indefinite leave to remain, after 1 year and 9 months in the UK. I had my ILR after 1 year and 9 months in the UK. Please, can I apply for naturalization after 1 year? Question no. Eunice, I had my na just say when you indefinite
Well,
no one
yeah, bro. So
so and oh yes, Eunice,
yes. When
mm,
you're bro, so in see, oh, because say, oh, wait to me, I application no for naturalization, na. And of
bro,
course, in who sa way na the fact that they have to wait 1 year and sana wait to me naturalization na they think that is the only requirement. And
mm,
see, of course, today's topic was to make sure that they know say that is not the only requirement. Just because ebia o papa kofa o when you're indefinite straight away into 1 year pound into wait to me naturalization. It's not the only requirement if you are 18 and over. Into say when start can win definite na 1 year better home. Now only the requirements no of the 5 years lawful residence and you haven't shown that you've done the English language test or you have a degree or that you've done the life in the UK test or that you have stayed here lawfully for a period of 5 years without any immigration issues, you're of good character. If you don't meet all those other requirements, no dear, you cannot just say you are going ahead to make the naturalization application. It's important that you know, say yes, after 1 year of indefinite, no, you are you meet one of the requirements, but you have to meet the rest of the requirements to make the application.
mm. Yeah,
Manage.
into cutie, you can follow the when I can now with me at one more. You know the phobia man so patrol kasa frame my ente wonka.
Pastor, ladies, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Pastor, my question is based on the fee waiver
Okay.
application. Many about a sales worker dependent, but on mobile, no, not our neighbor, but at the end of the day, only a big and a Nippon British mark for land.
Okay.
But in this circumstance, don't person with you, but don't know a Juma or self-employed. A week we are on £200. And a papa to every month we are £300 man. Until Nina on the expenditure the total amount when you need 1,100 a month. In these circumstances, you know, bet my few weaver and
I mean, I'm assuming say application now or you know your parents' root application say or per 2.5 based on the banner. Is that the application?
yes, yeah,
Okay.
guy.
Okay, it is a human rights application, dear, and they'll be to me. I Safi waiver request. They will need to see her income and then the expenses, and then they will need to see how she's also being accommodated because. So, oh yes, after waiver application, now they expect that you be able to show that your expenses are above your income. And see, she will need to show all of this and maybe I was submitted.
Having a conversation with somebody who has had training.
Yeah,
Um,
but
say
the
when no
expenditure in
kasa we
it's
to
about
me close
1,100.
way no why.
It's important.
And the silver on your knee now is almost the same.
No, maybe based on the
Metra
Maybe
wo background no kasa we say your radio say your office
social
so.
media.
Into betumi
okay.
otwe ho kakra na ye tie we yetumi ate won kan yi.
I don't know.
Tibisa our next question no.
No, let me say, on expenditure no a bank statement on to me yeska and fan to her. And so a ne rent ni bibia no so no at the end of the day no so spend it ni na free enka.
Enti senior lawyer Eunice acheche mo no follow. Enti the whole thing is say oh yeah whatever application oh yeah say e qualify say or say utumi ma ho kwan say or say utumi ye fee waiver. Nhyehyɛ no wɔ hɔ nti senior wo ka sika wonya because whatever or say wo present to bank statement ne ade nti sɛ sika ekom ne nyinaa e kyerɛ sɛ wo no wotete bibia free mu a wo da zero home office ankasa na ɛbɛhyehyɛ saa sɛ yɛbɛtumi de ama wo anaa yɛntumi mfa ama wo. Why? All right, me na say. Okay, mpacho wa mapiku mami 1 second. Why? Na me read the question answer. Kofi Akubia see will just a county court judgment for a private debt lead to refusal of naturalization? And sa question nanka me bebisa pa sa county court judgment yi. Eunice, sɛ yama obi a ebetumi ɛwɔ a car wodi enya aban campo ɛyɛ private a car wodi ɛwɔ
Yeah.
you know ebetumi lead to refusal of your naturalization and
Not necessarily, unless you can show, say, you have made an effort to make payment of the debt, or you are saying that you've applied to the court to say that it was wrongful for that person or that company to put that credit notice on your record. And see, they need to see that you are doing something about it rather than say, that records no so for the past 5 or 10 years, only a history. Then of course it means that you are not very responsible and credible. And so it's important that as much as possible, say, oh CCJ, then you make that effort to clear it off the records, and then make the due payments that are necessary. And then, of course, once you do that, they can also look at the application with that in mind. But if you haven't done anything about it, then obviously you're looking at a refusal.
okay. Internet try say nipa no otumi prove say all this car or did baby no why nhyehyɛ every month bia there is record shows every month bi otua whether ɛyɛ aban car and a private car no nhyehyɛ wɔ hɔ a ɛda na akwam sɛ otua every month no or so otumi tua wie ansa na wakɔyɛ application and I say obetumi approve say saa nkae a mede nyinaa ɛwɔ hɔ deɛ nanso metua a regularly payment ɛkɔ wobɛtumi ayɛ application no.
Usually, it's best that you show that you've cleared it rather than say you are still making payment, because then they have that discretion to refuse or to obviously grant. And let's be honest, if somebody has a discretion and then they see that there's little effort to clear something that they believe should have been cleared a long time ago, if that almost pair, almost farm out, almost pair, almost way to me, I can someone depend out. So for me, the stance is always to make sure that it has been cleared, then you can go on and make the application.
Okay, ɔdɔfo a wɔ ahoma so kafra sɛ wogyina so akyɛ mpakyɛ wo kasa frame yɛnte wo nka.
Hello.
Yeah, hello, good morning.
Good morning. Me patrol, me so master kakra mpese me bi send you.
Uh-huh.
Me name me kunu and a free Ghana buy.
Okay.
But unfortunately no, I 1 or 2 things into your divorce.
Okay.
And I mentioned your divorce February ni. I mentioned the menya be more person worry me, but no okuma den kata o pese your application.
Okay.
But yeah, marriage certificate, customary marriage certificate, and BBA organ and the customary marriage certificate now for April. Is it possible to make me apply and I me train kakra?
Oh,
Oh,
okay. Never assistant now. Assistant and who yeah, and I say what is the circumstance?
The end by any COS by 3 years ago next year.
Oh, okay.
1 or 2, yeah, meaning our year 1 or 2 year. What's any divorce, mammy? I say, men pebby, and then I'm one child, and then time the things more on your beer or so about me.
Okay. And so now you're dependent now the buyer and say after the on why you're divorced no. And I'm sure say or no skilled worker or no so your application on a different routes showing say wanna know why you're divorced. Is that the case?
On your BBS side. Divorce now that's the same in baby. The next year
Oh, okay.
you renew and I'm free so.
Okay. So if that's the case, so on your trade, yeah, then of course you have that leeway. But I don't want you to get to the point where on country will say why ABB, and then it means that automatically your leave has been cancelled because no I application or they are to one country. So to me, as soon as possible, so when you be there, then you can make the application straight away if you want.
Okay, see, and found interval now, like February now, divorce, customary marriage in April.
No, it doesn't matter. As long as you can show say, oh yeah, divorce no before obey warrior. That's what matters. Yeah.
All right, okay. All right,
Yeah.
thank you.
That's it.
Odo de eja utumi ja aware ene enwumre ya no obenyo from be ka so me ho. Eye yentie we na afi yempike elo ayi ne yentie we so.
Good morning, Majeti. Good morning, Lawyer Eunice, Chacha Munina. But me bisa question yama, Madam Fubi. Or free you na buy, or better over 5 years. None what they were British citizen now. Or baby so no so I be 5 years for her when you indefinite data. Now, or so apply for citizenship, British citizenship in the man. But no, bisa say, or more better over 5 years, no, so I British citizenship. No, bet me, I apply passport to man banner direct, or yes, or apply for citizenship. No, but Frano, below 18 years. The message. I mean, sure. Bye.
Okay. Then it's not just out here.
Yes, me say at least all the information in Nashim, which is very good. Until say akolano or ne papa na didn't buy it, ne papa. And so enya ne British citizenship because now it's not a chrome half for 5 years. Wait to me ne British naturalization so British citizenship. And an banon so ordinary bar yaman 5 years. Into opese omu say obetumi aye application no for naturalization na man the ban straight away. And of course I think say nan the ban so enya indefinite non so as well. So akolano ye under 18 there the child can register to be British under Section 3(1) of your British Nationality Act because Akolano, you didn't free Ghana no, they are still a minor. So as much as possible, say almost to make sure say Akolano ebia wabetna come have for a 5 year period. Ne papa you're British. Your application no actually say because ne papa you're British no so Akolano so ne nsa can indefinite or person no so British. And no sa no omo guidance no echomo say if they think fit then they can make Akolano also British as well. And usually in most cases they grant it because parents no ewo ninkrata that omo de bema akola no so.
Okay. Mrene ko mami kan yen platform ne so kakra. Yen near Bema Elijah Campbell or say, hi lawyer. Regarding naturalization application, if you have more than one job, do you have to put both jobs and reference number on the application or just one job and its reference number? Is it okay? Ejuma some dey say I don't know lawyer Eunice. Ejuma 100 or so the nyina agu so na odi ba ko na agu so okay.
Usually when you're making the application it just gives you room to put one employer. Of course they always ask for further information into another further information so person can say oh yeah Juma what 3 places are then you can put on there you work for 2 other companies in addition to the main company that you work for. They use this as a way to also check whether you are somebody of good character.
Mm.
And of course if they get a good reference from your employer then of course they can go ahead and know say would the dean. But of course I don't know why he's asking this question, but if you want to put all your jobs there you can put it in the further information section, but under the employer section you just put that main job there.
Okay. Nti na se wonye adwuma nso ene wontumi nye naturalization ana.
Oh no, you can also make the application based on the referees. Every application for naturalization has a referee section.
Mm.
Into they always request 2 referees. Into
Mhm.
those 2 referees are also people that can verify your character, verify the kind of person that you are as well. Into ABA we a stay at home wife. Now only Juma that Obian Sheda any character. Those 2 referees are
Yeah.
the two main people that they will be looking to confirm whether you are somebody of good character as well. Yeah.
Okay. And yes, saa nso na bia wayɛ adwuma pɛn na bia yare ana bibi nti wagya adwuma a, can you still use your previous employers as reference, so or they are willing to give a reference for you no obetumi use so.
I know, so on the application, it doesn't ask for previous employers, but like I said, in the further information section, if you
You,
want to put that information there, you can do so. Obviously, because they would love for somebody to say to them, "Oh yes, I'm now a housewife, but I previously worked at so so and so. My manager, Mr. So so and so, is happy to give me a good reference, and so I include it in the supporting documents as evidence of my good character, for instance." Yeah,
I see.
yeah.
Okay. Yo, yɛnhwɛ next question. Ibrahim, see, what about producer, many na ɛyɛ a na ɛyɛ four nti ɛtɔ da bia wayɛ me readings na kɛseɛ kakra de ama me meda ase wayɛ adeɛ. Ɔse, what about if one gets English from UK, do the person has to write English language test? One gets English from the UK. So, lawyer Eunice stretch English from the UK and say, yeah,
Oh, GCSE, I think.
Patrick
I think so. Called GCSE English. And so when it
uh,
comes to GCSE English, that can be accepted for immigration law cases like, oh yeah, further leave to remain based on your private life, and I say what we usually call the human rights application. But for naturalization, I've realized that they are very specific under the appendix English language for those who want to make those applications. And see, you have to be able to show that you have either done an undergraduate degree or you've done the English language test at a level B1. They are very, very specific. I don't know why they are so specific, but that is that in terms of the English language test.
Okay, Yensan Thomas Kusi. Thomas say, hi Manya, what about the referees? I mean, is there any dignity personnel they are looking for, please? Example, doctors, lawyers, nurses, etc. Or anyone else can be your referee. Thank you. Wow, Sha. Evidence say, or say nipa no, or no so British citizen, and
So when it comes to the referee, they have their guidance. They expect that at least one of them is a British national. So at least one of the referees that you're going to use can have a British passport or citizenship. And then they expect that at least the people that you're using as referees will not be relatives. They will not be related to you at all. They must be over the age of 25, and they must be people who they would deem to be of good character. Hopefully, none of them will be of any bad character. And then they have to be able to show, say, at least one of them is in a professional job as well. So most times, most people get it right.
Oh, say professional jobs, no like say you can dignitaries, doctors, nurses, or no say who UK ha na who say adwuma special services adwuma ni sa na already no aban no recognize you say oh good character now so you ni particular. Ain't na I say dodo na who you saw mo na it's good for you. But
Yeah.
mbia you so be a dwuma bia title bia na bibia oni position bia sometimes they will dig a little bit and to avoid digging and na it's just appropriate say we be use you can say such people no now they are nti enye hu area wo oni GP ye fine na uko GP ho like you are register na uta call ne ade na I think GP betumi ayama saa nso na wonim nurse bi a onim at least the thing is they should know you a period of over 3 years and Eunice, 3 years
Yes,
and
at
years
least three
3 years
years.
Nti sɛ wonim nurse ne bi a onim wa, provided sɛ ɔnyɛ wo relative no, they can do. Even though obi kura ɔyɛ adwuma wɔ post office, yes, ɔyɛ adwuma wɔ post office, but the position ɛwɔ post office because means obi a wayɛ bi a na ɛnyɛ n'adamfo na ɛwɔ bɛnkyɛ da on record na hwee nkyɛn sɛ ɔyɛ n'adamfo, but ɔyɛ adwuma wɔ post office, so you should need position in the post office to do the referee. The amount no, depending me nea, depending why. And bohu na cutie san ba biom san be can say I mean I entered the UK in January 2023 and had the indefinite leave to remain in September. Okay, when can I apply for naturalization? And so still a broso and or entire
You
UK
see, she entered UK in January 2023 and had her indefinite in September 2024. So she meets one of the requirements. She doesn't meet the rest
the
of the requirements
uh,
because Oka said the indefinite no at least when you're 12 years no 12 months no I'm an abroso. But not really because the 12 months hasn't yet come up because she said she got her indefinite in September. In September 2025 we and the 12 months no ebeso. But Oremu January 2023 in Suswa, she hasn't been able to show that she has lived here lawfully for that 5-year
5 years
period
period now.
without any immigration issues.
Okay.
So unfortunately, she does not meet the requirements. Yeah.
Into no cutie, calculation no does not qualify you, and that you don't call it, you don't meet the requirements. Into no Charles Emery so say BWF Solicitors all the way. Yemre na so at this point now, I may not pick any other calls or read any messages, but rather no may inviting any about lawyer Annie na on for the English version of this today's program no and be to drama. So good morning, lawyer Annie.
Good morning, Lady Maniati and Lawyer Eunice and all our viewers. Happy Friday to you all. So the topic for today was, can I naturalize as a British citizen after 12 months of indefinite leave to remain, or do I have to wait 5 years of residence? Do I need to show 5 years of residence? So what we learned today is that most of our clients believe that they can apply for naturalization as long as they wait 12 months after they have been granted indefinite leave to remain. But today we learned that there are a lot more requirements that have to be met. So first of all, who can apply for naturalization after 12 months to begin with? So, under Section 6 of the British Nationality Act, the person must be of full age, which means that they must be at least 18 or above, and they must also have full capacity, which means that they shouldn't have any like mental problems that would prevent them from understanding what they are doing. So that is the first step. Then there's also a good character requirement. And as Lawyer Eunice said in the guidance, it doesn't necessarily explain what would amount to good character. But when a caseworker is looking at whether an applicant has good character, they would consider any criminal behaviors that the person has had in the past, or whether they are a persistent offender. So, for example, if the applicant has any trafficking offenses, that could have an impact on their good character. So, we would suggest that the person should wait for the traffic offense to come off their record. So normally it takes about 3 years, or even if the person has been imprisoned, again, they should wait at least 10 years before they even consider submitting a naturalization application. And when it comes to good character, if someone submits an application, or the person submitted an application in the past and they didn't answer the questions truthfully, that can impact their good character as well. So, for example, an application can ask whether the applicant at some point had a different name, and the applicant might have just said no because they might have forgotten or they didn't want to disclose that. But if the Home Office finds out that the person indeed had a different name at some stage in their life, that could impact their good character, or even if they have some type of debt that they haven't paid off yet, whether it's with the county court or NHS, fees are outstanding, and that all of that can impact someone's good character. So it's important that when you are submitting an application for naturalization, that you make sure that you are a person of good character. And then there's also immigration requirements which have to be met. So the person has to make sure that they have, first of all, lived in the UK lawfully for 5 years. Emphasis on the word lawfully. And then they have to make sure that within the 5 years that they lived in the UK, they were not outside of the UK for more than 450 days, because the applicant has to show that it is their intention to make the UK their main home. So if they're outside of the UK more than 450 days in that period, in those 5 years, it kind of shows to the Home Office that the person might not necessarily have an intention to live in the UK permanently, as they're living somewhere else. And then the person also has to make sure that when they receive the indefinite leave to remain, the 1 year that they have to wait before they apply for naturalization, they have to make sure that within that period they are not out of the UK for more than 90 days. And then lastly, there's also the life in the UK and English language requirement. So yeah, the applicant would have to say the life in the UK test and pass it. And then in terms of English language, if the person has a degree that was taught in the UK, let's say the person has a bachelor's, a master's, or a PhD, they wouldn't have to sit the English language test. However, if, like, let's say they have a degree that was taught, but it wasn't taught in the UK, in that case, the person would need to get confirmation from ECTIS, confirming that the degree that they have matches at least the English language test at level B1. And if it doesn't, then the person just has to sit the English language test. And then lastly, as part of the application, you'd have to provide or rely on two referees who would confirm that you're a person of good character. And those two people have to be over the age of 25. One of them should be British, they should not be relatives, and one of them should have a professional job. So those are the requirements when it comes to applying for naturalization. I hope this helps. Thank you very much.
Thank you too, my dear. Aha, etiefoɔ no ahwɛfoɔ, yɛbɛda yɛn nuabaa ase. Afei, mmerɛ no aso nti no, aha na ɛdi dwumadie no bɛbɛwie. Nansa na ɛbɛsɔre no, mɛsan bɔ mo nkaeɛ sɛ Nyame yɛ adom ɔkyena, the community and the law ɛbɛba so. Very, very, very beautiful topic yɛbɛ discuss wɔ. Meka beautiful and kyerɛ sɛ very, very educative. Ɛbɛboa yɛn nyinaa na make a date with us. Other than that, no, me san frɛ Eunice na ɔma yɛn goodbye note kɛkɛ na afei yɛnsɔre yɛnkɔ. Eunice, deɛ na wode gya yɛn anɔpa yi?
Yɛda yɛtiefoɔ ne ahwɛfoɔ nyinaa ase. I believe that when it comes to yeah naturalization applications ne deɛ nsɛmbisa no deɛ ɛdɔɔso dodoɔ naa no ɛbɛhu sɛ it's not just a simple application that you can just say you are just doing it and then you submit it just like that. It's very important that you seek legal advice as well. But ɛnyɛ naturalization ne immigration nsɛm nkwa ɛna yɛdi ho adwuma. Yeah, family issues and so in terms of obia ebia or share say omo divorce and now crampo say omo case to do with financial orders ebia omo japadia mo pese mo chiche na hu say no in terms of that we help in making the court applications and now say child arrangement orders more one bar more separating Munsumi and decided saying we make applications to the court in terms of child arrangement orders, any other related family issues and so. And I opinion so a year probate ne wills home ejuma. And see, I send bisa wo bia no say ye din ho ejuma wobɛtumi afrɛ yɛn ɛwɔ yɛ office line no so 0208 493 7340 Yeah, offices no is located in London, 4th floor of Anna House, 214 to 218 Tottenham High Road, no so, London N15 4NP. Nti yɛbɛgya itie for ha, nyame yɛ adom a yɛbɛhu yɛn ho next week.
Yeah, Eunice, me that say. Eunice, good character we no requirement, no.
Yes,
I think say you be a special program. Now
program.
questions I've just received based on the good character
Yes,
requirement, no. Nkrofo so just say and one who which is which into no
yeah,
pattern no there be a special program just for good
program on that. Yes,
yeah
yes,
no. Other than that, native for a hand and maybe my home crime. Me just say, and unya whichever one. When it comes to becoming a British citizen, a British national, na nneɛma bi wɔ hɔ a ɔsɛ yɛhu na yɛhu ne sei a ɛmbɔ nhu but rather it shapes you sɛnea ɛbɛyɛ a woretu anammɔn bi wɔ kurom ha na woayɛ ahwɛyie sɛ wopɛ sɛ wobɛyɛ national wɔ ha deɛ a wobɛyɛ ahwɛyie nneɛma bi wɔ wamfa wo ho nkɔ fomfam na mbɛtwintwa wɔ anan mu especially dodoɔ no a ɔmode ka wo sɛ mentua mede wei ka mentua mede wei ka mentua ɛbɛtumi aha adwen saa nso na ebi mu nso ɔmo yɛ yarefoɔ wapɛtu ayɛ yarefoɔ wɔ kurom ha sɛ ɔyɛ yare sɛnea ɔbɛyɛ a ɔnyɛ adwuma na ɔngye yɛ kwaku nkoaa no ndi me nuabaa me nuabɛma a wotie mi kwaku bɛdi kwaku nanso kwaku nso bɛdi wo edu bebree a wopɛ sɛ woyɛ dɛn wobɛyɛ British national no nti nneɛma nketenkete bi wɔ hɔ a me deɛ mefeel sɛ ɔsɛ yɛhu ne yɛtete yɛn ho efiri mu a ɛbɛboa yɛn if that is our aim daakye sɛ yɛn nso yɛbɛyɛ British citizen anaa British national wɔyɛ mefuto kakra a mede ma yɛn nyinaa until then no nyame nka yɛn ho nyame nti ɛnɛ nwia no bɛbɔ nti wopie a hwɛ sɛnea wobɛhyehyɛ wo ho esi afa na ankɔhyew too much anaasɛ ankɔyɛ wo surprise media ne manyɛti hyia baabi afrɛ manyɛti have a lovely weekend until then we'll meet next week same time same place. God bless you.
Based in London, we are a dynamic award-winning firm specialising in a range of legal services. Welcome to BWF Solicitors, a trusted and experienced law firm specialising in immigration and nationality, appeals and judicial review, dispute resolution, family and matrimonial, and other family law disputes with international context. These include matters such as private child arrangement orders, contested and uncontested divorce, non-molestation for domestic violence, and financial remedy. Our childcare and family team appreciate the issues facing you at such a difficult time. Our advice is delivered in a confidential and sensitive manner. Meet Bernard Owusu, our esteemed senior partner, with over 32 years of experience and known for his expertise and dedication to serving our clients and the community. BWF Solicitors stands for integrity, respect, excellence, teamwork, diversity, inclusion, and service to the community. We provide tailored assistance specific to your case. At BWF Solicitors, every day is filled with dedication, creativity, and a commitment to finding the best solutions for our clients. Our team at BWF Solicitors is ready to assist you with all your legal needs. You can find us at the 4th floor, Anna House, 214 to 218 High Road, Seven Sisters, London, N15 4NP. Our main office line is 0208 493 7340, or our emergency line is 07712 761 884.